discuss the 13 cards they revealed for the second set of Lorcana, Rise of the Floodborn. First up, we have Mickey Mouse Friendly Face, a 6 inkable 1/6 with 3 lore, and he has Glad You're Here. Whenever this character quests, you may pay 3 less for the next character you play this turn. I really like this card. With 3 lore, it's a threat. I can see this card fit into all sorts of decks. In the mid-range, you can cast 2 5-drops the next turn. In aggro, it helps you outrun your opponent, and I can even see it in control, where it helps you cast your big threats 1 or 2 turns early. Next up, we have the Queen, Commanding Presence, a 5 inkable 4/3 with 2 lore, and it's a Floodborn villain queen. With Shift 2, she has the biggest cost reduction so far from all the Floodborns. In addition to this, she has the ability Who is the Fairest. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character gets -4 strength this turn, and chosen character gets +4 strength this turn. As it stands now, I'm not sure where this card goes. She helps you to control the board with its ability, and she's a decent quester with 2 lore. If they do print a queen that costs 1, then obviously this card is insane and should go in every deck that she fits into. However, if there are only queens that cost 4 or 5 or even more, then I'm not sure if you want to risk 2 for 1ing yourself by shifting it onto the Queen Wicked and Vain that could draw you cards. Either way, I'm excited about the Shift 2 cost reduction of 3 and hope to see more things like that. Now let's look at Zero to Hero, an action song for 2, uninkable. It reads, count the number of characters you have in play, you pay that amount of ink less for the next character you play this turn. Is this just strictly better than Just in Time? Let's look at the play pattern for this card. Let's say you played in turn 3 like you would Just in Time. You played one character in turn 1, another one in turn 2, and now you sing it. That is the best case scenario for turn 3. So you get a cost reduction of 2 since you have 2 characters in play, and you have 3 inks available because you can sing it as a song. So in this case, you can play a character that costs 5, and you can do that with Just in Time without jumping through all these hoops. But what about later in the game? It's not uncommon to have 4 or 5 characters in play, so you can just sing this to basically play a character for free. You're not limited to 5 drops or lesser, and it synergizes with everything that cares about songs. So I would say early game it's probably a bit worse than Just in Time, and late game it is much better. However, I still think it is a very specific deck that this card goes into. Now let's look at Elsa Gloss Off, a 4 inkable 3/4 with 1 lore, Storyborn Hero Queen Sorcerer with Challenger 3. Well, that is it. I don't think this card will make a huge impact unless there might be some tribal mechanics with Queen or Sorcerer. It is probably not gonna replace Jafar, Keeper of Secrets, Mickey Mouse, Wayward Sorcerer, or even Zeus, God of Lightning. They all quest for 2 and do what they do better than she does. Merlin Shapeshifter is a 4 inkable 1/5 with 1 lore, and he has the ability Battle of Wits. Whenever one of your other characters is returned to your hand from play, this character gets +1 lore this turn. This Storyborn Mentor Sorcerer looks very interesting, but right now it's really hard to judge how good this ability is. I'm sure there will be some support where you bounce your own stuff for value and then get even more value with this ability. Let's see where this goes. Next up is Winnie the Pooh, Honey Wizard, a 5 inkable 5/5 with 2 lore. This artwork is just amazing. Well done, John Lauren. I really love it. Also, congratulations to the art director. I love it. I'm a little bit disappointed it is on a vanilla creature. There's not much to say. It's a Dreamborn Hero Sorcerer. Hopefully he will have a cool item called the Honeypot. Let's see. Speaking of items, the Sorcerer's Spellbook is a 3 uninkable item with the ability Knowledge. You can exert it and pay 1 ink to gain 1 lore. More instant lore in the shape of an item. This can be compared to Eye of the Fates, a 4 inkable item that has See the Future. You exert it and chosen character gets +1 lore this turn. It's amazing how well balanced these cards are. It costs 1 less but is uninkable, and costs 1 more to activate, but it doesn't need a character to work. However, I think the decks it goes into are completely different from the ones Eye of the Fates is in, where Eye of the Fates is very strong with characters, for example Ariel, that can quest multiple times. The Sorcerer's Spellbook doesn't need any characters, so it's really strong in control, where you control the board and just gain lore on the side with this item. Good thing they made it uninkable to keep it in check. Here we have Bell, Hidden Archer, a 5 uninkable 3/3 with 3 lore and shift 3. She also has Thorny Arrows. Whenever this character is challenged, the challenging character's player discards all cards in their hand. Again, shift 3 is very strong as soon as you have a character with the cost of 2, but this card seems very strong either way. You can cheat it in with just in time or from 0 to hero, and even if they do decide to attack it, it has 3 strength, so it can defend itself. The question is, of course, would you play this over Cusco? If they print a Bell that costs 2, I would say yes. Otherwise, I don't know. Let's see. Here we have Raya, Warrior of Kumandra, a 4 inkable 5/3 with 1 lore. She's a Storyborn hero princess. So she's basically Scar, Fiery Usurper. Of course her types hero and princess could be relevant, but other than that I don't think she's gonna make big waves. Now let's look at Dinner Bell, a 4 uninkable item with the ability, you know what happens. You exert it and pay 2 ink to draw cards equal to the damage on chosen character of yours. Then banish that character. At first glance, it seems like another good tool for the Ruby Amethyst control deck, but this could also be a lot of fun in mid-range decks with a lot of 4, 5 and 6 drops that have quite a bit of willpower, so you really draw some cards once you banish them. If we compare it to a somewhat similar card, Rapunzel, gifted with healing, we can again see how well balanced it is. Of course, with Rapunzel you don't sacrifice your own creature, you actually heal them, but you can only draw a maximum of 3 cards. Also, Dinner Bell is repeatable, so once you have it on your board, you can use it over and over again on the characters that just killed a big threat and got some damage on them. With Rapunzel you have to get the timing perfectly, whereas with Dinner Bell you play it and you just wait until you have a character that has some damage on it and is expendable. Overall a great card. I'm once again glad they made it uninkable. Let's look at the next Floodborn character, Gaston, Intellectual Powerhouse, a 6 uninkable 4/4 with 3 lore, shift 4 and an ability called Developed Brain. When you play this character, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put 1 into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. At first glance, this character seems super strong and really fun to play. We already have a cheap Gaston in a color that likes to pair itself with Sapphire, so this seems like a great tool for a Ruby Sapphire control deck where you have removals, you have Gastons, and you can find all your cards with Developed Brain and Developing Your Brain. With its 3 lore, it also poses a threat and helps you actually win the game without decking out your opponent. This is Cinderella, Stout-Hearted. She's a 7 inkable 5/5 with 3 lore, a Floodborn hero princess knight. So since she is Floodborn, she has shift 5 and a new ability, Resist +2. Damage dealt to this character is reduced by 2. That seems strong, but it's not finished yet. She also has the Singing Sword. Whenever you play a song, this character may challenge ready characters this turn. What? This seems like a great tool for these stalemate situations where no one wants to quest or attack or do anything with their characters. Also, the shift ability really comes in strong in this one with the Quasi Rush. From the shift ability, this really helps you to win some of the closer battles. Not sure how strong Resist 2 is. It seems particularly strong in the mirror match, where you play against another steel deck that deals damage not just with characters but also with actions and items. I'm sure it will find some place in a whole new world deck. Lastly, we have Tiana, Celebrating Princess, a 4 uninkable 1/4 Dreamborn hero princess with 2 lore. She also has Resist 2, and she has the ability, what you give is what you get. While this character is exerted, and you have no cards in your hand, opponents can't play actions. This seems like a lot of hoops to jump through for this ability, but it will protect you from many great removal actions. So these have been the 13 new spoiled cards for Lorcana, Rise of the Floodborn. What do you guys think? Tell me which one is your favorite card in the comments. Have fun questing!